In this system of equations, we have already the first equation is equal to y, and so it would make sense to use this equation, y equals 3x minus 10, and replace this y here with the 3x minus 10. And by doing so, I've eliminated the y variable out of the second equation. So again, I just want to make sure I keep track of my equations. So that's 1, that's 2. And I'm going to take equation number 2, and I'm going to replace equation number 2. I'm going to replace the y in equation number 2. And I'm going to replace that y with a 3x minus 10. So I end up with 2 times y, and that's going to equal negative 2x plus 14. And so again, I've eliminated one of my variables, so I can solve this equation for x. Okay, these just make sure that you're being careful with your pluses and minuses. So plus 20, plus 2x, plus 2x. Okay, so that gives me the 8x on this side, 0 pair, 0 pair. I end up with 34 on this side. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to then solve for x. X is going to be equal to 34 over 8. And we can simplify that to 17 over 4, which is 16 or 4.25 as a fraction, or sorry, as a decimal. I'm going to keep the fraction. Now, when we solve for x, we're going to substitute and solve for y. So it looks like it might be easier to substitute into equation 1. So I'm going to take equation 1, and I get y equals 3 times 17 over 4 minus 10, and then I'm going to calculate what y is. So this works out to 51 over 4 minus, I'm going to make this a common denominator, 10 becomes negative 40 over 4. And so my calculation for y, I get 11 over 4, which is 2.75, I think it is. Okay, so there's my solution. X equals 17 over 4, y equals 11 over 4. So here we have a word problem. We want to figure out what are the variables that we're solving for. That's the very first thing, and we can find that usually in the last sentence. How many of each ticket are sold? So we have balcony tickets for $25 and $40 for lower level seating. So that's going to be those are going to be our variables. So how many? So we're going to let x equal the number. Okay, so that's important. That's not the cost. We already know the cost. The number of balcony tickets. Okay, so it's important to know the quantity that we're actually solving for. Y then should represent the number of lower level tickets. Okay, we already, in the cost of lower level tickets is $40 per ticket. Okay, so we're trying to find the number of tickets. It says here the total revenue earned from the sales of 1,500 tickets is $5,400. Okay, so we need to come up with two relationships. So the first relationship is going to be the number of tickets, because I can come up with an equation for the number of tickets. Well, x is the number of balcony tickets, y is the number of lower level tickets, and that's going to equal $1,500 tickets. So there's one equation. The other equation then must be for money, and that's when we're going to involve the cost for the tickets, because that will then help us calculate money. We would not use the $25 and $40 to help calculate the number of tickets, because that would not make sense. So I'm going to take my $54,000 and come up with an equation. The equation is going to look like this. $25 times the number of balcony tickets plus $40 times the number of lower level tickets, and that's going to give us the amount of money. So this is money plus money should equal money, and the revenue of $54,000. That's the total money that we bring in. Once I've done this, now I have a system. I can solve this either by substitution or addition subtraction. In this case, it looks easy enough to do our substitution, and we're kind of working on substitution, so we're going to do that. So I'm going to solve for y. So equation 1, I'm going to get 1,500 tickets minus the balcony tickets is going to give me the number of lower level tickets. And what I'm going to then do is substitute into the other equation. So instead of using y, so instead of 40y, I'm going to use the equivalent 1,500 minus x. So that y gets replaced by this equivalent. And by doing that, now look at the new equation. The new equation only has the variable x in it. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve this. So 25x plus 40 times 1,500, that looks like 60,000, minus 40x equals $54,000. So combining my like terms, I get negative 15x. I'm going to subtract 60,000 from both sides. That's going to give me negative $6,000 on this side. So dividing both sides by negative 15, I'm going to get the cost per ticket. 6,000 divided by 15 is, these are expensive tickets. So they are $120 per ticket. Oh, sorry, this is not dollars. This is going to be the number of tickets. Okay, so we end up with, just double checking my work here, 15 times 12, oh, this is not correct, is 400 tickets. We're going to end up with 400 tickets. Okay, so we end up with x is 400 tickets for the balcony, and then solving for y, we're going to replace into there, and we're going to solve for y. So we get y equals 1,500 tickets total minus the 400 tickets that we got from, that are our balcony tickets. And that gives us 1,100 tickets in the lower level. Okay, so there's our solution. Okay, so this is tickets, and that's in our lower level.